Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Nicolas Jackson is open to move into Manchester United this summer. We also have some player updates regarding Renato Veiga, Raheem Sterling, Joao Felix, KDH and Tosin. But not only that, Jorrel Hato and Xavi Simons are this close to agreeing personal terms with Chelsea, and there could be a swap deal between Xavi Simons and Carney Chukwuemeka. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k before the end of 2025. Kicking things off, Fabrizio Romano has reported that sources reveal that in recent days, Man United have been approached with the opportunity to proceed and start talks for Nicolas Jackson. Chelsea have opened their doors to United. Transfer.com have reported that Nicolas Jackson will be prepared to swap Chelsea for Manchester United this summer. However, the Blues' asking price of 70 million is putting clubs off. Now, we spoke about Nicolas Jackson in yesterday's video where Chelsea is saying that they're using the Hugo Ekitike price range as a benchmark for Nicolas Jackson of around 79-80 million pounds. However, the rumours between Jackson and United have not gone away. United are very clearly interested in Nicolas Jackson. There's also some other reports suggesting that Man United will be open for a swap deal where Jackson goes one way, Garnacho comes the other. I'm not going to be covering that in this video because you guys have made it abundantly clear in the comments every day not to talk about Garnacho, but essentially that's what's going on. We spoke about Garnacho a lot on this channel. Some of you want him to be at Chelsea, some of you really don't. So it is what it is. But focusing on Nicolas Jackson, I honestly feel like he will be leaving Chelsea this summer. And I honestly feel like Manchester United will be the club that he ends up. Whether or not they end up spending 70-80 million pounds on Nicolas Jackson, or some sort of swap deal happens where Jackson gets bought for a certain amount, we then buy Garnacho immediately. So it's like back-to-back deals, which is essentially the new swap deals that everyone seems to be doing. So it softens the blow for Manchester United. I don't know whether that's going to happen or if it's going to be a straight, look, if you want Jackson, pay us the money, you can have him. Now, of course, we know that these deals aren't a massive asking price up front. We know that it's split over a couple of years, and I feel like that will be another thing that happens for Chelsea in terms of Nicolas Jackson. United are spending big on the players they're trying to bring in, or they have the money to spend. Look at Mbeumo, look at Cunha. They're spending big money. So I don't feel like the asking price is going to put them off too much. They are in desperate need of a number 9. Højlund wants to leave. Xerxes still very young. Jackson's got Premier League experience. They missed out on Liam Delap, they missed out on Gyökeres, they missed out on Osimhen. They're running out of number 9 options. They could potentially go and get a Benjamin Sesko, but again, you're going to be spending the similar amount of asking price of Jackson, if not more, to get someone like Benjamin Sesko who doesn't have Premier League experience. So I feel like this is a really viable option. Jackson's now come out and said that he would be prepared to swap Chelsea lifestyle for Manchester United. I feel like he just wants to play football. Maybe he's finally realising that he can't redeem his actions now. Not in a horrible way, but a lot of the fans are kind of done with him. They're like, cool, like we've had him for a couple of years. We've now signed João Pedro and Delap, who are massive upgrades with instant impacts into the squad. We've seen what they've done in the Club World Cup. It makes Jackson third string right now. Does Jackson have the mentality to get his head down, work hard, and try and retain that number 1 spot? I would like to think that he does. I think a lot of professionals do have that in them. There's also some professionals that just want the easy life in terms of playing, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Some players that want, no, I don't want all that competition. I don't mind being in rotation with 1 or 2 in my position, but I want to be the main person in that position in the starting lineup. Yes, they still have to work for it, but I think it's a mindset thing. So if Man United want to come buy him for 70 million, you're more than welcome, because 70 million is no money to be sniffed at, especially when we signed Jackson for 32 million a couple seasons ago. However, looking at the market right now, the prices for players have gone through the roof. They're going wild. The market is moving mad right now. So I don't even think 70 million is massively over proportioning what Jackson's worth. And again, like at the start of the window, I'd said, yeah, you're never going to get anywhere near that. But the likes of Cunha, the likes of Madueke's transfers and Mbeumo's transfers and all the other ones that are going around 50, 60 million plus, I think like Jackson sits nicely in that sort of bracket and caliber of players to be asking for 70 million in a time period where number 9s are short of, there's a short supply of, and they're in high demand. Why not get what you can? Again, whether or not there's a Garnacho swap deal is something to kind of look into later on the line. I don't want to kind of spend too much time on that side of things. It's more the Jackson exit side of things, because if we can sell him for around 70 million pounds, that is a lot of money from a player sale that we were not typically expecting. There's a long list of players, and we're going to go through it this video, of players that we kind of expected to be sold this summer. Jackson is not one of those. So it's almost like extra money. Same with Madueke. Between Madueke and Jackson, if they both get sold for their asking prices, over 100 million being sold and a lot of profit there. from two players who weren't expected to be sold this summer. So I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you think Jackson is off to Manchester United? Do you think he will stay at Chelsea? Do you think that Manchester United will quite happily pay the 70 to 80 million pounds that Chelsea are asking for? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Record Portugal have reported that Joao Felix is very close to seeing his return to Benfica confirmed. The agreement is close to being closed for 25 million euros for 50% of his rights. The expectation is that the deal will be completed by Friday, with the possibility of Felix already being present in the Eusebio Cup on Saturday against Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce. Now look, we spoke about Joao Felix in the last few videos, and I've made my points very, very clear that there's clearly an emotional connection, boyhood club that want Joao Felix back. Felix wants to go back there. Chelsea may be willing to do a reduced fee. In yesterday's video, Chelsea are asking for £43.3 million for the likes of Nkunku and Joao Felix. However, a deal like this, I'd said in yesterday's video that maybe if Chelsea put like a 50% sell-on clause, they could reduce that transfer fee massively to help the likes of Benfica, who can't raise the capital immediately, and then Chelsea then still get their cake and eat it too later on down the line when they inevitably sell him to another player, to another club for a bigger amount than 25 million euros. However, doing it this way, of 50% of his image rights and things like that, that's just another way of Chelsea being able to recoup the money until, you know, we essentially make profit on him, or at least break even on Joao Felix transfer from last season. I think this is a really smart move. Now, obviously, I have to say that Record Portugal are a news outlet. I don't know how reliable they are. It could just be rumours from, you know, the rumour mill. However, we're seeing more and more of this being linked to Benfica from multiple reports now, and I honestly think that this will be happening. They're claiming it should be done by Friday, and to be honest, look, Chelsea are moving mad in the transfer market this week. There's going to be a lot of deals confirmed, ingoings and outgoings, in my opinion. And there's a lot of not mysterious but more questionable transfer rumours that we're going to be talking about in today's video. Things that have surprised me is what I would say. But I just wanted to keep you updated on the Joao Felix side of things. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Do you think this is a good deal for Chelsea and Benfica? 25 million euros gets him off the books, but we also get 50% of his image rights, which means we can recoup as much money as possible while he's not even playing for Chelsea anymore. He's technically off our books. Do you think this is a smart move from Chelsea in a way of recouping their money? Or do you feel like Chelsea should just demand more money up front or in installments from Benfica? Love to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Ben Jacobs has reported that Raheem Sterling is drawing interest from Bayer Leverkusen and Juventus. Sterling is 2 weeks back into pre-season training and working on the basis Chelsea will present him with options. Chelsea are willing to sanction an exit for £20 million. Now, yesterday's video, we had reports saying that like an unknown Champions League club are wanting Sterling. They're very keen on him. They're happy to pay the £20 million. Obviously, I upload 3 p.m. every day. So yesterday evening, a lot of you guys, thank you. You told me in the comments it's Leverkusen and Juventus, but we've had some more reports regarding that. Multiple sources have reported that rumours linking Bayer Leverkusen with Raheem Sterling are wide of the mark. The German club are not interested. So it looks like it's over to Juventus. Now, I did say yesterday when all we had was like the unknown Champions League club. I said it doesn't really narrow it down. A lot of clubs playing the Champions League. Who could it possibly be? And I did say that I had a feeling it was a Serie A club who was going to be very heavily interested, because I feel like Sterling can still go and do a job in Italy. I think he'll play very well in Italy. And we're seeing a similar style deal for Jadon Sancho leaving United and going across. I can't remember if it's Napoli. I think it might be Napoli or Juventus. It might be one of them. I don't know. But he's going to Italy for around about the same sort of figure, like a 20 million euro transfer fee. I don't know what he's going to be paid wage-wise. He's going to have to take a massive wage cut to be able to do that. But I could see Sterling going over to Serie A and doing very well. What is he, 30 years old now? I feel like he's still got a few years in him, especially if he's going to Italy. It's a slower paced league. You know, he's going to have more time on the ball, and he's still a very technical player. It didn't work out for him at Chelsea. His loan spell at Arsenal was abysmal. I think it's just good for both parties. We can get huge wages off of our wage bill. He's on like 300,000 a week, if not more, which is just wild when you think about it, considering he wasn't with us at all last season. And the seasons prior to that, yes, he had some good moments, but he also had some bad moments. He was just very inconsistent for Chelsea. There were times where he did step up and, you know, bag equalisers or winners, or, you know, created assists for the goals that kept us in games. Granted. But overall, I just don't think that Sterling's Chelsea career has been as wow as we want it to be. And I think that's fair to say. But Bayer Leverkusen have basically said, we are not interested in Sterling, man. That is not us. We're wide of the mark. We are not going to be buying Sterling for 20 million euros. Or £20 million. So it does look like it's over to Juventus. Now, let me know your thoughts and opinions regarding Jadon Sterling, Raheem Sterling going to Juventus. Do you think that can materialise? Do you think he'd do well in a Serie A club? Do you feel like he has got more to offer in the next couple of years in a league like Serie A? Do you think Juventus can pay the money and also give him the wage demands that he wants? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Fabrizio Romano has also reported Renato Veiga is pushing to join Atletico Madrid project as soon as possible. Atleti and Chelsea have started club-to-club negotiations for Veiga with talks ongoing. Simeone hopes to get his new centre-back soon. This is another deal that we spoke about previously in the last few days. Chelsea are looking to get around £35 million as a package, which is probably about 40 million euros. Atletico Madrid are massively keen on this deal. They're going into negotiations. We know that. Veiga is basically trying to push the move. He wants to do it. He's agreed personal terms. He wants to go. I also see that this move being, one, very good business for Chelsea to recoup some money. Big profit on Renato Veiga. Two, good for Renato Veiga's career. He's an incredible player. We saw glimpses at it at Chelsea. We saw glimpses at it at Juventus. Obviously, he was hindered with injury. He's a very good player, and I'm quite sad to see him go. It's a shame it didn't work out at Chelsea. But the flip side to that is this is a perfect example of Chelsea's project working, of buying players like Veiga who have got so much skill and, you know, they're a bit more polished, not completely, but a bit more polished, who can play a myriad of positions, you know, got very much a big appeal for other clubs across Europe or the world in general. Buying him cheap for around 14, 16 million euros and then flipping him a few seasons later, oh no, even a season later, for nearly 40 million euros. That's incredible business when you think about it, when you take the emotions out of things. We all wanted Renato Veiga to work at Chelsea for sure. He was already like a fan favourite in the very short period he was there. His passion is unbelievable. But this is another deal I feel like Chelsea are going to get over the line by the end of the week. I just feel like we are on demon time. That's what we're on right now. Renato Veiga, get rid of him. Sterling, we've got interest. We're going to show him options. Get him gone. There's more in this video we're going to go over, which again, I just feel like are going to be done by the end of the week. So again, let me know your thoughts and opinions on Renato Veiga. Do you see this deal going through by the end of the week, or do you see it falling through? Do you feel like Chelsea are going to get close to that 40 million, or are we going to buckle a little bit and go for around the 35 million euro mark? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Sky Sports Chef has reported that Fulham are interested in Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. It's understood that Fulham have explored the conditions of a loan and permanent deal. The formal approach to Chelsea will follow if they believe there is a deal to be done. This one actually surprised me. There's a lot of you in the comments that have said that, oh, KDH can go. You know, we bought him in. It was obviously like, you know, either a failed Leicester move or a PSR move or whatever it may have been. It's very clear I don't think he's an Enzo Maresca signing. Yes, he played under him at Leicester, but I don't think Enzo Maresca went out of his way to say, oh, we need to bring him across to embed the system, which is what I said at the start. I said it makes sense on paper, like logically. You bring one of the players, one of your better players from the season before who knows the system across. It's like Sarri with Sarri ball. He then went and bought Jorginho, brought him across because he knew how he played. He knew the system. He could help the other team members embed into it, right? So I was thinking along those lines. Clearly it wasn't the case, right? And I've said many times, I think KDH goes under the radar. I think he's a very good player, and he does his job to a very high standard in a Chelsea shirt. Every time he's called upon, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, a whole game in the Conference League, wherever it may be, he goes on, he does his job very well. As a 6, as a winger, as a 10, you name it, he just goes on and does his job. I think he's a very hard worker, and he plays to a very good standard. Obviously, he's not Chelsea first team, like first 11, starting 11, reoccurring quality. We can all agree on that. But I feel like there is a job and a role for him in this squad. However, Chelsea love money. And this is the summer window where Chelsea are bringing in all of their favours. And they're like, right, we've got loads of players to offload. Let's try and get as much money in as possible and kind of, you know, really slim down this squad to the key core players. And this is the summer where we do that. So I feel like no one's safe. There's a couple of players, obviously, that are untouchable. But in terms of the squad, mate, I feel like everyone's got a price tag on them right now. You just go back to yesterday's video and you can see the sort of the change in mentality around Trevor Chalobah. Also, I want to say you guys showing so much love for Trevor Chalobah in the comments, and I absolutely love to see it. It was just so beautiful. We all love Trevor Chalobah. Hopefully he stays. But regardless, Fulham have explored loan and permanent deal for KDH. Now, what did we buy him for? Was it 35 million or 45 million? I think it was 35 million. Let me know in the comments. I think it was either 35 or 45. It was around that region. If Chelsea are going to sell him, I don't think the loan is an option. Yes, we can have unlimited domestic loans. Thank you for letting me know in the comments as well. Appreciate that. It's the international loans that we have a limit of 6 on, apparently. So I appreciate the information. I'm always learning. We could go on loan with him with an obligation to buy. I feel like Chelsea could. I don't think they'll go that route. I think this summer they're going to want permanent deals. They want money in the bank. I don't see them doing lots of loan deals. They've said it with Carney. They don't want a loan. It's permanent only. Same with Joao Felix. It's permanent only. Veiga was on loan, but they want a permanent only. So you can see it's going through the squad of, we just want the dough. It's time to cash in. That's what we're doing this summer. We're cashing in on who we can. So it'd be very interesting, because I honestly believe that KDH is one of them squad players that you need, because he just does his job, keeps his head down, goes under the radar, but he does his job to a good standard whenever he's called upon. But Chelsea are going to see it as, well, if we can make money, let's make money. He looks like a Fulham player, right? When you're linked to Fulham, you kind of go, I could see him playing for Fulham, Be very interesting what Chelsea ask for, because he's only been with us for a season. We're not going to want to lose money on him. So if Fulham want to come in around that £50 million mark, maybe. But I don't know. I don't know Fulham like that. Do they have that sort of money to be thrown around on players like KDH? Who knows? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Would you keep KDH? Would you sell him? Would you sell him for a profit? Would you loan him with an obligation to buy? What do you see Chelsea doing in this situation? Do you see KDH going to Fulham or staying at Chelsea next season? Let me know your thoughts down below. Court Offside have reported that Chelsea could be open to selling Tosin this summer if they receive offers in the region of £30 million, with Newcastle, West Ham, Palace, Napoli, AC Milan and Monaco among the suitors. Now, first off, AC Milan, Napoli aren't going to pay £30 million because they've got no money. The Italian league has no money, apparently. So if that was euros, maybe, but not in pounds, because that would be, 35-ish, 36 million euros. I don't think they'd pay that. Secondly, please don't sell Tosin. For me, Tosin is unsellable. We got him on a free, so it would be pure profit. I get that. But he's been such a consistent defender for us this season. He's been so good. Cool, calm and collected on the ball. Very good with the ball at his feet. He's one of the leaders in the squad, gets on very well with a lot of the team members, very good friends with Cole Palmer. He is the experience people look to because he's like 27, 28, which is mental when you think about it. But he's got Premier League experience. He is the older head. He's good on the ball, good in the air, solid. All right, he's not as quick. He hasn't got as much pace as other centre-backs. Fair enough. So when he gets caught out, he gets caught out. But his defensive IQ is very good. And I think he's been one of our most consistent defenders this season. Again, when he's been called upon. Now, you can argue who's better between Chalobah and Tosin and Levi Colwill. I get it. Yeah, that's basically fans just, giving their preference. I'm totally for that. I'm not saying that Tosin is our best defender. All I'm saying is he's probably our most consistent of last season, and I would really like Chelsea to keep hold of him. But at the same time, from a business perspective, someone slaps £30 million on the table. That is very appealing when you look at the spreadsheet and go, well, it didn't cost anything. So it's pure profit to then obviously more money that we can hoard. The only way I can see this happening is Chelsea then going in and getting another centre-back, because we're already linked with Jorrel Hato. We're going to speak about him later in the video, so make sure you keep watching. I don't see it being a one in, one out. Obviously, I feel like someone like Jorrel Hato isn't going to play in the starting 11 all the time. Be a very good rotation player. Again, we're going to speak about him in depth in a second. But Tosin's going to play a lot more game time, in my opinion. Unless, Hato's been brought in as a left-sided centre-back who can play left-back. Tosin kind of plays on the right-hand side, right? So, I don't know. But West Ham, Palace, Newcastle all being interested. That doesn't surprise me. I think that they'll quite happily pay £30 million because he is a Premier League standard defender. I think he's very good. But I don't know. Again, this is rumours. I like reacting to it and asking you guys for your opinions, talking about mine. I don't know how reliable Court Offside are. Sometimes they're miles off it. Sometimes they're bang on. So I personally don't see Chelsea selling Tosin this summer. But it does say, look, if someone comes in at 30 million, they'll be willing to go. I don't really know how I feel about it. Yes, it's pure profit, but I would rather keep Tosin because I feel like he adds a lot more value than 30 million up front now. Across next season, he'll add more value across all the competitions. We need that depth at centre-back. And he's already embedded himself into Maresca's system, played very well. But I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Would you sell Tosin for £30 million or would you keep him for next season? Do you feel like he is a important figure in that dressing room? Or would you just take the £30 million profit? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Fabrizio Romano has just reported breaking news. Chelsea make club-to-club contact with Ajax over Jorrel Hato. Hato is ready to accept personal terms with Chelsea. Now, we spoke about Jorrel Hato yesterday, and I said that I feel like this deal's they're going to go very, very quickly. Chelsea are on demon time. We mean business. We are buying and selling, and we're getting things done. Pre-season starts in a few weeks. Obviously, the players, because of the Club World Cup, we've got a slightly shorter holiday period, but that also means that Chelsea need to move on demon time to get things done, right? We've got a lot of players to get rid of. We need key players in key areas. Hato is an incredible signing, in my opinion. I can see this deal being done by Friday, 100%. 100% I can see this getting done. It's just down to clubs. Now, yesterday we were speaking, and I even said, I don't see personal terms being an issue. We're just waiting for the initial bid. There's talks of £40 million that Chelsea want. Ajax want 60, but Ajax are, saying that the deal could be done for around £40 million. Now, there's also something else that's very interesting when it comes to Chelsea and Ajax. We have a very good relationship. Now, I personally feel like Chelsea can get this deal done. I'm just guessing, I'm going to say around 45 million all in, right? 40 million plus 5 million in add-ons, and I can see this deal being done. But there has been more reports regarding Chelsea and Ajax. Fabrizio Romano continues to report that one detail I can add is that Chelsea and Ajax have great relations and there could be room to discuss more players, like young Chelsea players going on loan there. Ajax are famous for developing talents. This is huge because Fabrizio is right. Ajax are famously known for developing talents, and if we could send our Chelsea youngsters there, mate, Ajax are going to be laughing because they get to do what they do best, which is develop talent. But we are sending some raw talent their way. Could you imagine, sending anyone that we would go to Strasbourg to go to Ajax instead? That would be insane. That would be unbelievable. Obviously we'd still use Strasbourg in that sense, but also having the option of going to Ajax is unreal. Their training facilities, their development team is unbelievable. Imagine Kendrick Pires going to play for Ajax and knowing over the years what Ajax have done to these young players. Mate, unreal. Unreal. So that is one thing that I can see letting this deal take a little bit longer. Is it's not as simple as, you want Hato, here's the price, we want Hato, we'll pay that, right? I don't think it's as simple as that. Well, I think it is in terms of that player getting over the line, but because they're discussing this type of thing of like maybe a future deal where there's a pathway to send Chelsea youngsters to Ajax for development and having like a priority over that, and Ajax being happy to accept that and say, like, you're going to bring some talent our way, we'll do what we do. We'll develop them. Maybe there's some sort of negotiation in terms of sell-on clauses with these youngsters or the loans or whatever. Maybe obligations to buy either way. I don't really know. But I felt this is very, very interesting to add into this. I feel like Jorrel Hato will be a Chelsea player by the end of the week. It's just a matter of the clubs agreeing a fee. But on the personal terms, it's agreed. It's done. He's waiting for the paperwork. He's like, yep, cool. I want to join the project. I want to join Chelsea. Down to the clubs to agree, which is unbelievable. What a player. 19 years old, international experience, can play left-sided centre-back, can play left-back. He's tall. He's got a very good defensive IQ, solid defender. It means Cucurella can finally get some rest next season, which would be unbelievable because it means we're not going to burn him out. He'll be unbelievable. Hato will play a lot of games across the season, either at centre-back or at left centre-back. There's lots of competitions and lots of minutes to be had, and I feel like he is a perfect addition to Chelsea's squad. So I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions regarding the Hato deal in general. How much do you feel like Chelsea will get the club-to-club fee at? How much do you think it'll be? Because it's argued to be between 40 and 60 million. I think 45. We'd love to know your thoughts down below regarding that. And also the detail between Ajax and Chelsea having good relations and swapping Chelsea players or sending to Ajax on loan for development. Is this a good idea from Chelsea's standpoint, or are Ajax just trying to take advantage? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Pletty have reported breaking news that personal terms are not an issue as Xavi Simons is open to the Chelsea project. They continue to report that RB Leipzig want to sign Carney Chukwuemeka from Chelsea. Chelsea have informed Leipzig that they want to sign Xavi, and a verbal agreement on personal terms is now close. It's pretty much done, right? Further talks planned for today where things are expected to intensify. This could be a perfect swap deal. A perfect swap deal. Chelsea want to offload Chukwuemeka. We wanted to do it last season. We ended up doing a loan with Dortmund for another season. They were like, well, we'll do the try before we buy. This season, they're like, can we have him for another year? And we're like, no, pay up. It's time to cash in 40 million or nothing. Dortmund are like, we don't want to pay that. Cool, that's fine. Leipzig are like, oh, you're going to buy Xavi Simons from us. Okay. Where does he play primarily? Is it 10? Okay. What about Carney Chukwuemeka? What an incredible swap deal. Carney's a very gifted player, still young and developing. He's developed well at Dortmund and had a very good time over in Germany. He's used to the league. He's played for Dortmund, played Champions League football, etc. I think that would be a perfect deal for RB Leipzig to come in for Chukwuemeka. If they can pay the £40 million, unbelievable. Chelsea get to offload their player. We also get Xavi Simons. That could be perfect. Now, like I said, yesterday's video, the deal was pretty much done in terms of personal terms with the player and club. So Hato, and when it comes to, Hato and Simons, personal terms for Chelsea and the project, done, waiting for the paperwork. It's down to the clubs to figure out the final fee. Now, with Ajax, you've got the loans of Chelsea players, which I think is very interesting. With Leipzig, it's, what about Carney Chukwuemeka? Could we figure something out? We want to buy that player. You want to buy ours. We don't really see straight swaps. It's usually one deal one way, one deal the other, back to back for similar fees. If Chelsea could pull that off, where we give Leipzig around 55, 56 million, for the likes of Xavi Simons, and they give us 40 million back for Carney Chukwuemeka, it means Xavi Simons is going to cost us 16 million. And when you look at it like that, that is unbelievable business from Chelsea. This really excites me because I want Carney to go and have a great career and be happy. He's clearly not going to make it at Chelsea. We love him as Chelsea fans, and we wish that he could have worked out here. And I think that's an opinion across the board, right? It's just very obvious that we're looking to get rid of him. Now, if he's going to go somewhere like an RB Leipzig and get regular game time, I'm all for that. If Chelsea can then get the money for it, I'm all for that. If we get someone like Xavi Simons in exchange, I am all for that. And I feel like the Jorrel Hato deal, the Renato Veiga deal, the Xavi Simons deal, the Joao Felix deal, I feel like all of these will be settled by Friday latest. That's just me predicting. That is just me predicting. Obviously, I don't know. I'm just reacting to stuff and the way things are going and the way things are heating up, the way things are going. Chelsea moving on demon time. We're going faster and faster. We need these signings done, and then we can focus purely on outgoings. But I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. Xavi Simons to Chelsea, Carney Chukwuemeka to Leipzig. Do you think that that happens as a one of them swap deals of one way, one the other in terms of back-to-back deals? Do you feel like Chelsea just going to buy Xavi Simons and then we're going to look for elsewhere for Carney Chukwuemeka, maybe put him somewhere else? Or do you feel like these deals, the Renato Veiga and all the other deals I mentioned, will be done by Friday? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Are you excited for Xavi Simons to be coming to Chelsea? And do you feel like this swap deal could be the deal? I can't even talk. The deal that gets Xavi Simons for around £16 million. That would be unbelievable. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And that's all the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you haven't watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that. You're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.